Hi, I'm Ruth Ann Norden,
And I'm Janet Siasnitzik.
and one of the questions that came in was basically if you're a new author, where do you publish your book? And we're talking about self-publishing,
Right.
not going with a publisher. So I guess you can kind of ask me questions if it comes up because I'm so familiar with this now. It's not easy for me to know what a new person's thinking
Right.
anymore. Basically, you have two options. The way that I see it, either you can go with Amazon only, and that's it, and that's being exclusive with Amazon. Or you can go with Amazon and everywhere else.
Right.
So I guess right now I'm going to talk about going Amazon only, and that's exclusive. It's when you join KDP Select to do your thing.
Right. And the difference is that limited means limited.
You can only do it on Amazon, nowhere else.
Right.
That's
and
very
for
important.
3 months, right?
Yes,
For
it's
three
for 3
months.
months.
And there's downfalls to that, and there's pluses. Of course, you get a little more exposure in that particular realm.
Theoretically,
Yeah.
it has not seemed to pay off for everybody that's gone in it, and I don't know if enough people, I don't know if the pros outweigh the cons on this. I guess I kind of see it across the board with all the people publishing all the time. Some of them will do really well in Select and some just won't. But that's kind of like you would expect anyway with anything. There's always that normal curve distribution that you're looking at.
They're supposed to promote you a little bit more, aren't they?
They kind of give you a little bit more weight.
Right.
And exposure rankings. Your book will show up a little bit easier.
But the downfall is that you are exclusive in there for that period of time, and you can't go to Barnes and Noble, or you can't go to any of these other things.
Right.
So if your sales, you can't have something that counteracts maybe low sales there because you're exclusively in there.
Which means that potentially what you could be doing is getting some sales over at Barnes & Noble or at iBooks or somewhere else that kind of buffers you from not selling so well on Amazon. And that's happened to a couple of people that I've met. But I guess I'll play devil's advocate for a moment and say, well, yeah, but it's only for 3 months.
Right.
And then you can get out. And maybe that's the key, is not think of this as a long-term strategy if you're going to do this. Personally, we're just kind of opposed to the exclusive thing anyway. So we may be coming a little slanted. But I mean, I can see if you're starting out, you don't have any books, you do there first, and then you then go forward.
And maybe
to
if you get your paperback out later than your ebook or one or the other, maybe that'll you could do it at that point.
You can do paperbacks wherever you want.
Okay.
It's just for the
it's just ebooks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the sad thing about that is the downfall of it is the fact is a lot of times just when you're first releasing a book is when you're going to have your most energy and your most
people are more likely to buy
it, and then after 3 months it's going to kind of dip some, and so you might have a harder time getting back up. That doesn't mean you can't. I'm just saying they might make it a little more difficult.
Yeah. And it takes a while to build an audience, and I think sometimes when you're new and you've heard the success stories where this person published and suddenly they're making millions and thousands and thousands of dollars right away. Well, that hasn't been my case. And I think the average author isn't it took me maybe 3-4 years before, I was even making what someone on minimum wage would make in a year. So it wasn't immediate that it came all of a sudden, but that's what some people think when they start publishing now.
Right.
Because we kind of built up the expectation. Well, all you have to do is join, Select, get into their Kindle Unlimited program, and, boom, you're just selling, and that's it. That's, all the promoting, all the stuff you'll ever need. You do need to keep some things going, and I think people that would do well anyway would do better, honestly, because they have some already that promotional thing in their system.
Right, exactly. They already have a background. Basically.
Right. I mean, they're willing to go out there and engage with people and stuff. Real quick, in case you don't know, Kindle Unlimited, if you're in Select, your book will automatically be put in Kindle Unlimited. And that's basically a subscription service for readers. So readers pay, and I think it's $10 a month. And so they can borrow your book. And, the borrow counts. So, it kind of counts. 10%, I think right now, if they read 10%, then you get paid as if they borrowed the book. But their borrows don't equal how much you would make if you had a sale. And this is where it gets kind of tricky to explain to people. But basically, Amazon will put in a pot so much money for 1 month, and then they divide it out. So however many books were borrowed, then they take that amount and then they'll pay each. Does that make sense? Kind of like if you had $1 and let's say 4 people had books borrowed, well then everyone gets 25 cents from that. Does that make?
Yes, it does. Okay.
And it's kind of hard to explain. It's up here, but getting it out. But but they say that the borrows kind of are weighed. Some people say that borrows are weighed a little bit heavier, or it kind of boosts your sales up a little bit or something. Now there's no proof on that. I have, just kind of speculation on some of the boards about it. But okay, so that's if you want to be select. But like we said, long-term strategy, I don't think this would be a good idea because you want to kind of broaden. You want to get a wider audience. Because, okay, let's say one time I had a book on Amazon and it was just, like all of a sudden people couldn't buy it. And I emailed them and then so they said, oh, well, we had like an issue, but oh, don't worry, the issue's been resolved and it was back up. But who knows why? They wouldn't tell me why. And, you're just kind of thinking, well, what if that was it? What if they for some reason, I don't know what the issue was, they just decided to remove your book for whatever reason, you would lose sales and you also lose momentum in your rankings.
Right, exactly.
During that period of time. But see, since I had the book out on other places, at least I was able to still kind of make something off the book during that time.
And the other thing too, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen in the near future, but you never know long term when Amazon can change things too. I mean, they you never know when they might have a different policy or something like that. And so if you just have select, that's a danger you have too. That one day you might wake up and they may not do that anymore, or have a different way. So
pay a different royalty rate, or you
never know. I mean, it's with that company and what they decide to do.
Well, and to be fair, it could change anywhere.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, Barnes & Noble iBooks, they could change things too.
Right. If you read all the policies when you sign on different things, they always can change at whatever time they want to.
Right. So, I mean, that's something to consider. I mean, that's like with going anywhere. I wouldn't put all my books just into Barnes & Noble or just into iBooks either. I like to go in as many places as possible.
Like they say, you don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right. And so, okay, let's say you wanted to do Amazon Plus. And some people think you can only do Amazon. Like, you can only be exclusive on Amazon, but you can't, like, go to Amazon and other channels. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. But some people think that if you want to be on Barnes & Noble, that you can't also be on Amazon or something.
Right.
Like there's a misconception. If you are not an Amazon Select, you can publish on other channels plus Amazon. Does that make sense?
Right, because because you're distributing your book out there where the other one is exclusive, only in that Amazon.
Select. As long as if you're not in Select, you can publish on Amazon and
everywhere else you want to go.
Okay, so some of the places, and you can publish on Barnes & Noble and Kobo and iBooks, and you can publish there directly, or you can use like Smashwords or Drafted Digital to use them to publish on there. I go with Smashwords. I'm not familiar with Drafted Digital, but through Smashwords you can get like Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Apple, Page Foundry, Baker & Taylor, Library Direct, Overdrive, Flipkart, Oyster, and Scribd. That's what's currently on the list when I go look at it. And I was just reading off the list as I was doing, just now. But so, those are the places. The one thing I would advise against is vanity publishing or subsidy publishing. That's where you pay someone to, publish the book for you. I mean, the thing is, these places that I mentioned on here, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all these places, they don't charge you a fee to upload your book. And that's nice. They just take their cut if the book sells, but then you get the rest of it. And I have been in vanity publishing, so it's an easy thing to get into. But if people are thinking, well, then how do I take care of covers or formatting? I don't know how to do any of this. At Smashwords, there is a link on Smashwords you can go to find people to format and do book covers for you, and that would be smashwords.com/list.
Okay.
So they, LIST list. So if you want some help doing that, especially if you're new, that could be a resource.
It could be.
Is there anything else you think that?
No, I think that's good. I think we've covered it pretty well.
Okay. And we'll have below in the comments on the blog post if you have any questions. Thanks.
Thank you.